Hi everyone.
Hi guys.
We're back again in our loft. It's a bit darker now than our last video, but that's what happens through the ages. We're here to talk to you today. I'm very serious. I'm sorry. I'm always very serious on these videos. We're here to talk to you today about the house which I think we've both been really excited by for a long time, and they've just not been here.
Yeah, I mean,
in our UK.
So we're talking about Kerosene. Whenever we've watched reviews, everybody mentioned these videos, and you just couldn't get them in the UK for a long time.
So frustrating.
So we thought of sampling them, but it's expensive to sample things via Lucky Scent, and you pay all that postage for a few samples. Yeah. And then actually, I was in New York in October, and I went to a really great fragrance shop. I won't mention it actually at the moment, but the name of the shop. But they didn't carry kerosene fragrances. But they happened to have samples of the whole range, so they gave to me. I really liked them.
Oh, fab!
And then when I got back, I heard the news that Roullier White, a shop in London, were about to start stocking kerosene, which is brilliant. So as soon as they did, I bought some samples and bought them and got stuck into them. And then I kind of sat on them for a while. And I have actually bought...
You want to let them make
I actually then bought all the same samples again. Because that was about 3 months ago, and I've been sitting on them. And
but we should mention this very briefly, shouldn't we? That samples have got a limited shelf life.
Yeah, I think so.
You can't buy a sample and then smell it in 2 years' time.
I mean, Roullier White are really great because they do samples of everything they ship internationally. But I'll show you an example of one of these little plastic samples. And so I ordered the first batch in November and was a little bit dubious as to if I'm smelling them 4 months later, are they have all the integrity?
Are you getting the real thing?
So I thought I would buy a new batch to have the fresh spray for you. So,
I mean, we've been excited for a long time, haven't we, to try these?
They're really good.
I've smelt some of these myself, I have to say.
Yeah. So the House of Kerosene
last week for the first time. We're excited. John Pegg.
We're
somewhere in the Americas. Michigan.
From Michigan.
Which is far.
And I think I understood from his website that he used to be in a kind of an automobile parts factory, and he said a lot of people growing up around him, working in Michigan, would work in a similar place. And
that's the thing there.
He started off reviewing fragrances and then taught himself perfumery, which I think it's just incredible. All these people, we love talking about these small indie houses, and these people who just teach themselves perfumery is absolutely extraordinary.
He was a YouTube reviewer like us once upon a time.
Yeah.
We're not reviewers, we just talk to each other.
I'm review perfume, but we're not reviewers.
We're not reviewers. But that is wonderful, and they deserve the utmost praise, because it's bloody hard to make good perfume.
And he doesn't just make good perfume; he makes amazing, really amazing, really great quality, really great performance, really great originality. One of the things I got with a lot of his fragrances is that every single one of them, when you spray it, you get a big blast in the face of this big, arresting, incredible smell. And for a lot of them, not all of them, but for a lot of them, you are then steered somewhere else. Yeah,
but it's a wonderful trick, isn't it? That he gives you something which is so immediately arresting and full of personality and bold and and sort of explosive, but then it doesn't all fizzle out afterwards, which so often happens in perfume.
This is one in particular. The first one, we're not going to talk about the whole house. We've just chosen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which
and there are lots more. So
there are lots more, but 6 we found interesting. I'm going to spray this. Then they each come with a little tagline as well. So I'm going to read you a bit of the tagline. This is Copper Skies. So, I mean,
beautiful.
I wore this the other day. So I'm just going to. So this is thick copper hue, painted by bands of honey, cloves, and amber. Now, when you first spray this, all I really get, the clove is so strong.
Yeah.
Really, really strong. Almost to the point of being quite medicinal, I thought.
I'm not sure this is possible, but if a clove and a star anise could have a baby,
it would be this.
This would be it.
It's very strong,
very beautiful and bracing.
We were talking earlier about making curry, and what I love is when you toast the raw spices, so the raw whole spices, your cardamom pods, your clove, and then you put them into a blitzer and blitz them up, and then as you unscrew that blitzer, that smell of freshly roasted and ground spices.
Beautiful.
That's the kind of quality I get with this.
We should point out at this point, sorry to be silly, but I've had a pint. When Dan says toast them, he doesn't mean in the toaster. That will break your toaster in a pan. In a pan, people.
Anyway, that's what I get.
It's so beautiful, isn't it?
It is. I found it bordering on a bit harsh, but that is not what I found the whole experience of this fragrance. I found eventually this big, really comforting, lovely, beautiful labdanum note came in to create this ambery feel, and it was rich. And it was treacly, and then when I had it on my wrist, I kind of brought it to my hand, and I almost thought, oh, that reminds me of Ambre Sultan by Serge Lutens.
Yeah, I absolutely get that reference.
Which is a million miles away from this, this very kind of almost a kind of acrid, sharp, medicinal, herbaceous quality you get at the beginning.
I got a slightly different note the other day, didn't I? I was saying to you, I wore this on skin about a week ago.
Oh, I love it.
And the first thing that came to me was this dusty, arid desert dryness of Lair de Desert Marocain.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a reference I think I had in my head pre-established. So maybe.
But this has got its
sure.
own personality.
Oh God, it's absolutely.
Certainly, it's not identical. It's not a copy.
Oh no.
It's a really
and you can never
really
imitate that. I mean, it's so unique.
I got incredible performance on this.
Yeah.
This lasted for ages on me. I think the first time I tried it, I put it on at 6 o'clock at night, and when I woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning, I could still smell it really strongly. I got in really, really good performance.
Actually, I mean, I know it's not a big feature in here. But there's something of an incensey thing going on as well. Or maybe it's just the smoky, lifted character of it.
I don't know if it's just the clove which gives the suggestion, of that oriental quality.
It's something that's a bit lifted.
Quality.
And it's lifted, it's herbaceous, aromatic.
Really good.
Very good.
Really good. Right,
Copper
next
skies.
one.
We like.
Follow. So, shall I read out the little quote?
Go on. What do we have?
I'll spread. I mean, you know what this is, and you know exactly what to expect from this, but And
I'll tell you all a very sad story of woe.
I haven't sprayed it yet. I've just taken the cap off it, and already I can smell it really, really strongly. I spray.
It smells like finger bandage.
No, that is my finger.
Sorry. No, this is absolutely glorious.
A bit of the quote is: "Follow the usual route is abandon your." Oh no, I can't. I haven't written the rest of this quote.
Dan is also a doctor in his spare time and writes prescriptions.
But what you get with this,
we'll put it up. You can put it up. Dan does all this mastering with it. Up there.
Yeah, sure. But what you absolutely get is the most. One of the very, I think the best coffee notes
for me
I've ever smelt in fragrance. I'm a really big fan of Intoxicated by Killian. Which is a different coffee note because it's really combined with the cardamom. This is, when you first smell it, it's just an out-and-out, freshly roasted coffee bean. Almost burnt.
It's teetering on the edge, isn't it? But it's somehow still, despite, I'm not getting any big burst of citrus or any sort of lavender freshness at the opening, but still, despite that burnt dark coffee, I get something very fresh and bracing again in that opening.
But I mean,
the temperature of it somehow is
coffee lovers, lovers of smell will know there's nothing quite like buying a bag of coffee beans and tearing it open and burying your head in, and it's very, very, very difficult to recreate.
It's that,
and I really think this is the closest thing. And
like I found with a lot of these, he goes in a sort of extreme direction to sort of ramp up the effect of something, but then it never crosses that line. So this could so easily go, it could so easily go into being like overly burnt to the point where it's actually bitter and not very pleasant.
Yeah.
It could go in the direction of New Harlem, the slightly cloyingly sweet
sweet. I find it really unpleasant.
He's so in the middle. It's so wonderful.
I love New York for All by Bond Number 9, which I find which I find a slightly less sweet, really good coffee version. But this is just more authentically coffee. It's really good. And as it develops, it does gain some sweetness. But I feel it's more. There is definitely vanilla, but there's more. I feel it's more about the tonka and then benzoin, which adds this kind of round richness. Yeah. It never becomes syrupy, sickly sweet.
That's the thing, and the vanilla, as I've found recently with vanilla, it's not there for sweetness, but it's there for creaminess. It's there for texture rather than for flavour. Beautiful.
I mean, it's not. I think this is one of the most popular. And certainly, you see, it talked about lots of
understandable
in the US, but
understandable.
I'm really excited. You can now get it here. Right.
I'm going to tell you one thing. Sorry to interrupt, but it's very sad. I, at the moment, am not allowed caffeinated coffee, but I can follow by the mighty John Peg, and I will. That will be my coffee fix because it's one of my favourite smells in the world. And that's it.
Something completely
what do we have here?
Different. Walk the sea. Here you go.
This is what Jesus did.
Like high tide dried on skin, memories of waves, sun, and sea. Now, a while before I ordered these samples, I read about it and I saw comparisons, and people compared it to things like Oud Mineral by Tom Ford, and a few other kind of salty aquatic things. But the first thing I get is definitely white floral and lily, specifically lily. Before I get any salty mineralic quality, I get lily.
I get like a lily oil on salty human skin. But I get a very human skin, sweaty thing.
As this develops, I start to get that mineralic quality. But I remember trying Oud Mineral by Tom Ford, which has got no oud in it whatsoever. But it just smells quite jizzy.
It was very jizzy, wasn't it?
Very jizzy. Yeah. And that's always the danger with these salty fragrances, that they smell a bit like spunk.
Which in some fragrances might work, in other fragrances not so much. I think
definitely spunky. Whereas, if
you want a nice beach time aquatic fresh thing.
Whereas this, I mean, it starts with this floral quality, and as I wore it on my skin, eventually it turned mineralic, and there was a salty element to it. But all the while, this floral quality stayed, and it did feel like a walk by the sea, as in a walk by. A green floral path near the seaside. It didn't feel like the experience of walking down a beach.
No, it doesn't have the it doesn't have the slight sourness that you can get on a beach. Like I was saying earlier, I get hints of, and this will sound a bit gross, but I actually get it. I get hints of this beautiful smell of fish that have washed up, and they've not turned, but they're on the edge of turning. But it's this wonderful, salty, briny.
Briny.
Really, like I mean, I don't know how big a tuna is. They're pretty enormous.
No, they're
absolutely fucking massive. If a tuna had just washed up on shore,
you would know about it.
And John West came along and put some brine on it, he would never do that. But it's this.
But
it's not aquatic in the sense of colour.
No.
And the freshies of the 90s.
No.
It's real salt and it's real sea. It's real seaweed as well.
I feel
moss bresh or something like that.
I'm going to actually slightly disagree, and I feel that actually this is a floral fragrance. Essentially, it's got mineralic salty qualities. But for me, I could always get this floral quality from top to bottom, and that's why I say I feel it is true to the name, that it's walked by the sea, and it's not the seaside. It is a garden, things growing by the sea.
Something that this is bringing to mind a little bit, and I'm not one to compare things at all, but that slight linden blossom thing that you get with beaver.
Yeah, linden blossom. Yeah. Maybe, and that's adding to that.
Actually, I think slightly nicer done as well, and creamy.
Anyway,
it is a floral for sure, but the saltiness kind of lends itself to that aquatic
completely
aspect.
Different to the first two. Next one is Unforsaken.
I've never smelled this ever, so this is.
Ooh. Now I will say for this,
is brand new.
What you will spray is only a very, very small portion of the experience. But here you go.
Yes. That's always worth a mention, isn't it? We've probably said this before.
Especially for this
what
one.
you spray on card is never the real thing.
Yeah.
You've got to try it on your skin.
So the quote: there are times you may want to be tasted and not forgotten.
What does that mean?
Nor forsaken. What? Well, I don't know what it means, but what I found is that more than any of these others, the first spray wrong-footed me. So what I got, the first thing I got was Neroli.
What are you getting there now? It's Neroli.
Neroli.
Yeah.
Really beautiful, beautiful Neroli, orangey citrus.
Slight hint of bitterness there.
Slight hint of bitterness, and as I said to you earlier in the pub was that I thought of Acqua di Parma Colonia Senza.
Yeah.
Beautiful, really classic cologne. And I thought, oh, is this? I mean, the other thing I haven't mentioned it yet, but I thought the way he does citrus is incredible. I don't know what he uses, but his citruses are absolutely astonishing. So when I first sprayed this, I thought, oh, is this going to be a good kind of classic cologne Neroli citrus that I can wear for the summer? Because from first spray, it smells like it. But I wore this on a few days just to check, but it really, for me, went in quite a different direction, and it took me from somewhere to somewhere else. I'm just going to refer to my notes a little bit here. Eventually, I got a coconut that kind of crept in, and joined in with this Neroli, and then I got a really thick jasmine note. So, and that jasmine kind of seemed to segue the Neroli from a floral to a thick, sweet quality. As I think, jasmine, when you use jasmine, can either be this thick, juicy, sweet quality or a white floral, and it kind of seemed to link the two.
But it's not sort of heavily indolic.
No, but that's the thing. It's never.
It's nice. I find some jasmines that go in that direction.
Yeah, it's not
don't appeal.
Lily indolic at all. So and then it became sweeter, and then I felt there was tonka bean as well, and there was richness, and then there was definitely benzoin. And so after a few hours, 4 or 5 hours, it became this really engulfing, thick, sweet, beautiful thing.
It's really creamy though, right off the. Just quoting an American, right off the bat, it's
you're
very creamy.
And actually, when I first sprayed it, I thought great summer scent. But then towards the end of it, I thought great winter scent.
Yeah. This is the thing, like you were saying about the citrus. If a citrus is done really well, and it's not just there for a bit of a distracting, fresh opening.
But there are no rough edges. Smell that. I mean,
no, absolutely nothing. I mean, I said to you earlier that this, to me. This is a wonderful sort of lemon meringue cake batter thing going on. And sweet but not cloying, photorealistic citrus without being overly bitter. I mean, there are citruses that are pure lemon, which are kind of wonderful. Aqua Viva
this
by
is much
Parfum
more orangey,
Aroma.
I think.
Well, absolutely, it's that orange petitgrain thing.
Yeah.
There's the little hint of bitterness, but it never crosses over. I love it. It's again perfectly balanced, isn't it?
Yeah, amazing.
Perfectly balanced.
Really love it, and really, almost more than any, this was the one that really surprised me. Really good.
I'd like to try that on skin in 3 hours.
Next one is Unknown Pleasures. Now,
I didn't try this either. Okay, this is good.
I'm not going to read the description. I'm just going to start by saying that this, when I looked at it, it says lemon, sweet, gourmand, which are basically, if I had to list 3 things that I don't really like in fragrances, those are the three. Those are the 3 things. And
you know what?
And I think this is probably my favourite.
I was going to say, how can you not love that smell?
And I said, my wife wants to buy a bottle of this. So it's lemon and bergamot at the top, but this is inspired by, I think, a day in Manchester in England, a cloudy day in Manchester.
A cloudy day in Manchester. That's interesting.
So it's inspired by Earl Grey tea, and I think lemon cake as well. But
do you know, I totally get that. I totally get that.
I've just got to say, more than anything else, the reason I don't like lemon is because of the association with toilet cleaner.
Yes.
And especially when you get cheap lemon notes, I think toilet cleaner. Whereas
bouquet.
Sorry.
I hate to be mean.
Whereas this is such a good quality lemon that it segues into
really
bergamot, and then it segues into tea as well, like seamlessly.
But specifically in Earl Grey tea with the bergamot as well. So it's a very smooth transition, isn't it?
So good. And then already you don't quite get on cod at this stage, but this kind of hint of kind of sweetness that again I sometimes struggle with sweetness, but it's so rich and so realistic that I really got that kind of lemon drizzle cake.
I tell you something, that's so beautiful. That slight smokiness that you can get with an Earl Grey, with the citrus and the sweetness of the lemon, but again balanced immediately by something smoky that takes you in a different direction, is stunning.
Yeah,
absolutely
really,
stunning.
really good.
Of all of these, neither of us are big fans of freshies. We're, like you say, we're not about lemon and bergamot and all the rest of it. But
I really think
that is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I really think this is one that I think I need to. It's so unlike anything else I own.
It's like if you like Santa Claus and being happy, you can't not like this fragrance. It's an instant feel-good thing. But without being at all generic or derivative.
Absolutely not.
I've not smelled a fragrance like that.
Amazing.
Never have.
Really, really like that. Last one.
I don't even like Earl Grey tea, but I would drink some now if it's.
Oh, I do. I always drink Earl Grey tea rather than Builders.
I'm more of a peppermint tea man.
All right, sure.
That's fine.
Sure. Last one. Broken Theories. Let me read the little quote. Assured, you know the morning will come, the darkness will subside, and the theory that everything remains dreadful will be smashed and broken.
God, that's quite deep.
it is quite deep. It doesn't really give you any idea for what to expect. When I smelled the cap, I thought of two things. This was another really good performing one, and I really got hints of two Tom Ford fragrances.
Yeah. The first one I'm getting is even bigger than possibly the second of the two.
What's the first one?
Tobacco Oud.
Yeah, I really got, especially off the cap, I got Tobacco Oud straight away.
Oh, beautiful.
And but then I felt it went.
More interesting.
It turns a little bit sweet, is why I got hints of Tobacco Vanille as well. But all things considered, I found it much more interesting. I felt there's a bit more spice and bitterness to this.
It doesn't apologise for any of its aspects.
No.
I mean, Tobacco Oud is beautiful, but it instantly finds a note that hits you and then says, "Sorry about that. Let's round it off with something else." Yeah. This thing is actually prepared to hold its.
In a way, I found this a little less kind of. Or maybe a bit more simple and down the line. This is a more obvious kind of fragrance. Do you know what I mean? Whereas some of the other ones are either abstract or they're the opposite of abstract. They are taking a specific idea. Whereas this feels more like a fragrance, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Some of these are something that you might love the smell of day to day, but think maybe would I wear that as a perfume?
Whereas
I
coffee,
would.
Rusty skies, walk by the sea.
Yeah,
there are ideas.
But that actually it does have that tradition.
I can see this being very popular.
I really love that.
Again, I found this perform very well on me.
Yeah, I can imagine that would.
It was a good balance of dirty and polite. Really good. Right. If you had to buy one of these...
This is tough, Dan. This is tough.
What would it be?
I'm going to have to say... Because there's just nothing like it. I mean, there's nothing like a lot of these, but Unknown Pleasures.
I really liked Follow. I loved the coffee note. I thought it was incredible. Really, really, really good. But I will also go for Unknown Pleasures, just because I don't own anything like it.
And for a note, I think for both of us, a note and a sort of an initial steer that you might get towards something that's a sort of lemony, citrusy thing, I would automatically, if I was reading on a website, I'd go, not for me.
Yeah,
but I smell that and think, maybe I was wrong. Yeah. If a perfume tells me maybe I was wrong,
that's the best thing. It's so great to be proved wrong and to be taken out of your comfort zone. But so viewers,
what a house.
Viewers in the US, you will maybe know these a lot better than us. You'll have been with them for a while.
Yeah.
So tell us your experiences. As I say, we didn't look at the whole range. These were just 6 of our favourites. But tell us what you think. Many. Tell us what you love. But
and we're going to go to Roullier White at some point soon and just smell everything up.
Yeah,
we need to do that.
But and if you're in the UK and you want to try samples, Roullier White, they do ship worldwide as well, and they're an awesome shop.
And John Pegg. If we had hats, we would take them off because
definitely they're on the floor.
These are beautiful.
They're definitely on the floor. Until next time.
Bye.
Happy sniffing.